Each evening at this time, Monday through Friday, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community. Time for Talk is a community betterment service designed to cooperate with our local community betterment program. Tonight, Rosemary takes us by means of portable camera out of our studios and maybe into your neighborhood. And now, it's time for Talk.
Well, tonight, we're at the Daily Dunklin Democrat. How many years would you say we've been doing broadcasts concerning the Dunklin Democrat? Listen, I remember one tape way back from 1975. A lot of you weren't even born in 1975. In fact, the lady that we're going to talk to right now probably was not. We're in the Democrat office, and the new editor is, well, not new, but Michelle Raspberry. And are you a Kennett girl?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I graduated. I was alive in 1975 when it started. I'm actually a 1988 graduate of Kennett High School.
All right, all right. And we're here to learn what the top stories are. Oh, listen, what makes me sad is to know all of that history that's back there in those bound volumes of the Democrat and even the paper that was before that. And it's going to be lost. But tonight we're here to talk about 2013 and the top stories of the year. Did you work for a paper somewhere before you started here?
I actually, this is my second time at the Daily Dunklin Democrat.
Right.
In my early 20s, I was a young cub reporter here.
Yes, all right. I thought, well, there's another Raspberry. Okay.
No, that was me. And then I went on to work for several military newspapers in several Air Force Base public affairs offices. I was editor at Little Rock Air Force Base, Warner Robins Air Force Base, and did some work at Aviano Air Force Base in Italy.
And you just, in Italy?
In Italy, yes, ma'am.
I can't believe you came back to Kennett from Italy.
I came back to Kennett.
Okay, all right. And how does this job, how is it what you felt like it would be to be an editor of a small town newspaper?
This is, I say this and people just think, oh, you're just saying this. I am absolutely 100% in my dream job. I remember being a young 22-year-old reporter sitting, and this chair right here was my editor's chair. This very chair was Lyman Skiles' chair. And I remember thinking I would give anything to one day be sitting in that chair. And
so one day,
dreams do come true.
You are looking at a young lady whose dream has been recognized. All right, all right. Now, we talked about doing some big stories for the year. Tell us how you feel about what that involves.
Well, we've actually started several new projects this year. One of our big goals this year has been to get the news local. This is a small town newspaper. And I don't mean it's a newspaper that's in a small town. We are a newspaper that reports our small town news.
And when I buy the Democrat, I want to know what's going on here, not what New York City is doing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that has been our big push this year, is to get this paper local. We want it local. We want local stories.
And I know what you're going to say. You've started some new features this year that I am really aware of.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We originally the first one was our neighbors feature, where these stories.
Now, was this your idea?
No, this actually, I believe, was the previous editor's idea, George Anderson.
Okay.
Yes,
all
because
right.
I did not take over until May as editor. So, but the biggest neighbors feature that we did was on Jan Sanders and Mary Jean Moore, who were both stroke victims, who went and had a procedure done by a doctor in Florida that gave them back a lot of their movement, their clarity in their minds. That story reached all the way to Australia. I actually had a researcher in Australia call me to ask me about doing the story on the two women, and
Continuing story?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
that's what I think
Yes.
people would like, yes.
What he wanted to know was, did you know the women before the stroke and after the stroke? And fortunately I did. Jan Sanders was one of my teachers in school.
Oh, okay.
So I had seen Jan before the stroke, and I had seen Jan after the stroke, and then after the treatment. So while I reported the story, it was a personal story to me.
Okay.
And I got to see her.
Okay, and this is from Australia, this
researcher from
That's
Australia
amazing.
called.
That's amazing.
And I had calls from Louisiana, Kentucky, California, people wanting to know, was this really true?
Now, is this how you measure whether or not you feel like this was
Jan and Mary Jean are amazing women.
And you are emotionally involved in this story.
In this story.
Yes, it's not just reporting.
No. And even if I wouldn't have had the calls from Australia, from all over the United States, I still feel like that was one of our biggest and best stories.
Okay.
Again, with the neighbors features, we try to do those on we run those in our Sunday papers, and they can be. My philosophy is everyone has a story, and everybody should have the opportunity to tell their story. So that's our goal with our neighbors features, is to tell folks stories.
All right. Now, you've also done something with veterans.
Yes, we have. In conjunction with the hospital, with Twin Rivers Regional Medical Center, we have started a veterans feature. We are losing, especially World War II veterans, at an alarming rate. It's over 600 a day in the United States.
Hey, didn't I see a big pile of books you had here on World War II?
Yes.
Is that what you're doing? Oh, okay.
I do have all the World War II era books with our papers from that out. What we did is we are going out and we're capturing these stories before they're gone. We're talking to the veterans themselves, hearing their stories, and again, the amazing things you don't know about the people who are your neighbors. Prime example, Herman Bone was my grandparents' next door neighbor. I've known the man literally my entire life.
You have an insight, having lived here and grown up here, you have an insight into the stories.
Yes. I've known the man my whole life. At 35 years old, I learned that he was in the first wave that stormed the beaches on D-Day at Normandy.
Mm-hmm.
He was also a participant in the Battle of the Bulge. And then, as if that wasn't enough, was in one of the units that went out when Auschwitz was liberated, and he helped carry the living out of Auschwitz.
Oh, that would be
so that is a piece of our history that we don't need to lose. People need to know that. Those stories need to continue.
She's kind of on a crusade. Can you tell? All right.
So we've done that with our veterans. We're doing it with Vietnam veterans as well. We're finally getting a lot of them to tell their stories.
And you're enjoying every minute of opening these old books.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I love
that
back there to go through that. All right.
Yep.
What else are you doing?
And then we just started another little feature that's just kind of a fun feature. It's called Tail Wagging Wednesday, where
Tail Wagging Wednesday.
Where we're working with the Kennett Humane Officer, Tina Pittix, and every Wednesday we feature one of the animals that she has at the shelter that's available for adoption.
Okay.
Because she is a very
Have you adopted one of them by any chance?
I have not. I already have 3 of my own, or I would.
Okay, don't do it. Don't do it. We've just been visiting kids over Christmas, and they have 2 dogs in the house, and I thought we were having an earthquake one night when I woke up, and one's under my bed, moving my bed. Oh.
No, there's a cat that she's trying to convince me I need, but
no, not if you have dogs already.
No,
all right.
So
Tail Wagging Wednesday.
She does. And them are absolutely heartbreaking.
Okay. All right. Other than the series and Ann Tail Wagging Wednesday, have you got more new things you've more innovative things?
We've done two things this year.
Well, I saw those, yes. I don't recall anything like this.
A state patrolman, Reggie Walker, who was born and raised in Kennett, passed away. And as a state patrolman, we felt that he deserved to be noted on, everybody's obituary runs, of course, but Reggie had sacrificed his life for years as a patrolman. He also was very involved working in an orphanage in Africa. So we chose to run his obituary on our front page.
And then you also did Bob Redmond.
We also did Bob Redmond.
Yes.
Bob was our sports editor here for 20 years.
Did you first work under Bob?
I did not. Unfortunately, I did not work under Bob. He had retired by the time. However, I've known, again, being a Kennett girl, I was very good friends with their youngest daughter. I've known the Redmonds all my life. I go to church with the Redmonds. So when Bob passed, we felt that, again, someone who had devoted 20 years to making the DDD a great sports paper, that was an obituary that really deserved front page recognition.
Mm-hmm. Good. All right. So any more new features?
I believe those are probably the end of our new feature.
All right. What about a strictly a news item that came across your desk that you think that really got a lot of response?
Okay, it is. I'm going to pull the picture up for you. I believe.
That's an interesting courthouse picture. When did you make this?
Actually, I did this when we had our latest ice storm. Not the 09.
Not the 09.
No. The one that we were prepared for.
Yeah, just happened.
I took this one, and in fact, I loved this picture so much and wanted it used in the paper that I had one of my reporters, Laura Ford, do a history of the courthouses
Yes.
in Ducklin County.
Yes,
And
very.
she did a great story.
Yes, she
kind of
did.
giving us the background of all
Yes,
the courthouses.
yes.
And if you give me just a second, I'll pull up the
All
top,
right,
our
cool.
absolute top photo of the year.
Our top photo of
This
the year
was-
is coming
yeah.
up for you to see.
Yes. This